So one way we can have some nice avoidance from our dogs with a variety of different wildlife is teaching them a stop command. Now, the stop for my dogs could be anything. It could be stopping in a sit position or stopping in a drop or a down. Now, I find for most dogs like German Shepherds and our herding variety of dogs, Border Collies and Kelpies, they naturally move into a drop much more quickly than they would into a sit. So when I'm training a dog a stop, particularly a dog like one of those varieties, I like to do a really nice fast drop or down. So how do we get that behavior first? Before we start adding in the wildlife, we need to make sure our dog understands it. So for Raph, what I could do is I could have him in a sitting position with one of his favorite treats, and I get him interested in the treat by holding it in a fist right under his nose. Once his nose is pressing against my fist, I move it down in between his front legs till his front elbows and his belly and his bum are all touching the ground at the same time. When they are, I tell him he's a good boy and I give him a treat. So I get him interested in it, I move it down, good. Give him the treat and then tell him he's free. Now I like saying free because it lets the dog know when they're free to go back to being a dog. Rafa. Now, that might look easy, that's because Raph and I have done this before, but you can do it from a standing position as well. So I'll move Raph around here. So let's say he's in a stand. We can move the treat down almost towards his body as it goes down, and it should put him into a down like that. I mark it, I say, good boy. I give him a treat. I might even give him a couple. And I give him a release. Free. Now, once you feel like, yeah, I've got that under control, I can make the dog access that sort of behavior, we want to add a verbal cue or command. Rafa. So in order to add the verbal cue or command, we need to say the word before we do the action. That's so that we know the dog is listening. So if your dog is running through a paddock and you see a bunch of kangaroos jump in front of them, you don't want your dog to have to rely upon hand signals. You want them to be listening to you. So we say the word first, then we make the action happen. So I can do it from a sit position first. So he's starting it in a sit, and I will say, Rafa, drop. He knows it, but if he didn't know it, I would then lure him down and give him the treat. Free. So we'll try it again from a standing position. Rafa, come here, mate. Let's say the dog's in a stand, I'll hold him up so he doesn't do the behavior straight away. So I'd say the word drop, let it sink in, and then get the dog into the behavior. Free. Now, if you don't know how to teach your dog how to drop, there's plenty of free YouTube videos you can look at. How do I get my dog to drop? How do I get my dog to down? Because there's thousands of different ways to do it. The reality is though, if you're saying the word first and then you're using food or a toy or some sort of incentive to create the behavior for happening, you're on the right path.